Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie, and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome any new subscribers and also thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. Let's jump right in. We talked a little bit about the lunation that occurred earlier today, which would be the full moon in the sign of Gemini. I'm certainly feeling it today with that lunation was square Neptune, and it just creates a lot of fog and uncertainty, fatigue perhaps. But it really, this lunation was asking us to recalibrate on a certain plane, and also to ground ourselves, a lot of mutable energy, ground ourselves using that fire trine energy that had to do with Leo, Mars in the sign of Leo, asking us to connect with heart-centered energy so that we can ground ourselves at this time. Now, also today, Mercury stationed and will be going direct. So the Mercury entered shadow back on November the 7th and then went retrograde on November 25th. Now Mercury is stationing to go direct and will be completely up to speed and out of shadow on the 2nd of January, allowing us to move forward with contracts and anything else that may have been paused during this time. Because Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius, travel, fun times, good times might have been kind of put on the back burner. Purposeful pause in some communication style and or motivational force or energy moving forward certainly could have taken place. And now it's time that we've had that moment of slow down or pause so that we could redo, revise, rethink. We can now begin to move forward with those processes with a greater understanding based on truth, because that's a Sagittarian theme, and or make those travel arrangements. Justice is also here, so we can start moving forward in some of those areas with a certain amount of confidence in knowing that we've pivoted, we've spent time with it, and now it's time to move forward. Like I said, if you can wait until the 2nd of January, please do, but no need for that unless you feel that it's necessary, if you need to revise or review a little bit more. Also this week on the 18th, we're going to have Lilith, which is in Libra, is going to oppose Chiron. Now, we've had this energy around for a while, but the perfection occurs this week. In addition, that energy is going to carry us into the solstice on Saturday, meaning that that energy is not only has been with us a little or kind of stewing in the background, it perfects this week, but it's also going to carry us through the next 3 months. Why is it important? Lilith is opposing Chiron, is asking us no more self-sacrifice, right? Lilith wants balance in relationships. People-pleasing is occurring. It really needs to be curbed, especially given the energy that's coming in at the time of the solstice. We really want any new beginnings to be fortified with healthy relationships and step away from some of those Black Moon Lilith themes of manipulation, control, or just sacrificing ourselves for the sake of others. It's just no longer needed. On the 19th, a great energy day. Love this energy. We have Venus, which is in the sign of Aquarius, is going to trine Jupiter, which is retrograde in the sign of Gemini. This is an air trine. It's very spontaneous. I love, Venus in the sign of Aquarius is very spontaneous. Give space to others for sure, authentic. So I see this as, authentic, spontaneous acts of love that create mindful communications. It might be a very healthy chat that you have with someone that creates a communal connection. Now, we're going to add another tier to this because Cheriklo, who is the wife of Chiron, she brings such warm, healing, beautiful energy. She is right there, literally sitting with Venus and in Aquarius. And so that is bringing like healing, sacred space for the greater good of all. So now it's becoming more quantum. She's Kuiper Belt. So we're reaching into the galactic for a different, higher level frequency of this energy, if you will. Excuse me, this energy is also because on the 21st we have the solstice. So this energy, because of the perfection this close to the solstice, is also going to carry us through the solstice. Let's talk about that. The solstice is occurring on Saturday, which means the sun is entering 0 degrees of Capricorn. Happy birthday, Capricorn. Capricorn energy is all about mastery and foundations, security, but not from a tangible sense. It's ruled by Saturn, so it's security on all levels. It's almost like restricting to make sure that you've got the security in place before we move forward, making sure that you've got that solid foundation before you move forward with any action or activities. Now, because Pluto just finished its destruction of foundations that weren't built properly in the sign of Capricorn since 2008, I also see this as an opportunity for that rebuild to begin, the rebuild of Capricorn energy with a nice solid foundation now. We've recognized where things have been amok. They needed to be cast aside so that we can really now engage with a true foundation that's going to set our security, personal and otherwise, security moving forward with confidence. Now, let's talk about the solstice. Very magical time, that's for sure. The veil is thin, so spirituality may come easy for you. Psychic abilities may be more pronounced at this time. What I find very interesting, not only are the lunations interesting, but the solstice signifies the shortest day of the year, meaning each and every day from that point forward until June, the light is going to increase. There are celebrations all over the globe in many different traditional religions and other beyond religions, where people are saying goodbye to the dark and hello to the light. And I think we should join in this year in that celebration. This energy is going to be with us for 3 months until the spring equinox comes around. So certainly envelop this energy of new beginnings. And let's talk a little bit about the lunation. So we've got 2 very powerful T-squares that are occurring. One is cardinal, meaning the energy that exists on this cardinal T-square, which is in opposition with the square in the middle, is going to, cardinal energy, 0 degrees of anything, means it's going to happen on the world stage. So we're going to be seeing something manifest on the world stage. And then we also have that beautiful trine that we already spoke about relative to Venus and Jupiter and Chariklo, bringing in that healing energy. So as we speak about these T-squares, please know they're for purpose and they're for promotion of healing and creating sacred space, so that, bringing authenticity to connections, and so that we can build a greater good for all in some of these new beginnings. Now, back to those T-squares. So the first one I want to talk about is the sun, which is again at 0 degrees of Capricorn on that world axis, is going to T-square the nodal axis. So the nodal axis is just getting ready to exit out of the sign of Aries. The nodal axis go backwards, so they don't start at 0 and go to 30. They start at 30 or 29 degrees, 30 degrees, and go backwards to 0. So that nodal axis is getting within 0 degrees of Aries, which right now it's about 2 degrees, but it is going to pivot very soon. And this energy, again, because it is effective or going to be with us for 3 months, it's kicking off this energy. So let's kind of break that down a little bit. Let's talk about, and the perfection, I should say, the perfection of the sun squaring the nodal axis, because the sun's going to continue to move forward, will be on the 23rd of this month. So just know that, again, kick off on the 21st, but really the perfection is going to be on the 23rd. The nodal axis, and I'm going to discuss 3D today. I typically don't, but we're going to today for purpose. So the North Node in Aries is all about getting to know your essence, standing in firmly who you are, having sovereignty, individuality. Now, on the 3D side, it's all about me. It's all about me all the time. I'm so based on individuality, everything else is out. No, that's not your true essence, at least in my opinion. Then on the opposite side, we have the South Node which is in Libra. And Libra is asking for balance, harmony, working together. Now, the South Node in Libra can relate more to 3D principles. What is that? That's about people pleasing and codependency, right? And guess who brought that in before Black Moon Lilith, right? We've already had that, the opposition between Black Moon Lilith and opposing Chiron. So now it's really coming home. We are really feeling some of these 3D aspects that are coming in, so that this is a huge choice point for humanity. And what really drives that home as a choice point for humanity, the North Node is conjunct Manway. Yep, that's a Kuiper Belt object. We're pulling those in too. The Kuiper Belt object, Manway, he and his wife Varda were the ones that created the universe. So he also speaks of light over dark, the light winning, dark not, major new beginnings, major new beginnings. So as the sun squares the North and South Node, it is signifying major new beginnings. Please, please, please envelop that energy. Think about that energy. This is creating choice points to certainly connect with that 5-dimensional energy that's coming in fast and furious, and step away from 3-dimensional energy. Now, what's also interesting to note, just as a side, we do have Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries this year. They're going to both then go retrograde and step out, but we're going to get a little taste, which is very interesting, of what that energy is going to bring. Now, keep in mind, when they cross that 0-degree Aries point, they're going to run into Manway too. And Manway is going to ask them to bring their highest vibration for those new beginnings, because Manway is also a Kuiper Belt object. Okay, so that's our first T-square. Again, it is a cardinal T-square. Expect for things to appear on the world stage, because that's typically where that 0 degrees Aries energy plays out. Now, the second T-square that we have, we've been dealing with this one for a little while too. But before we can move forward, I've got to back up a little bit, and I know this is going long today, but trust me, it's worth the time. We have to go back in time to December of 2020. Back in December of 2020, at the time of the solstice, there was something called the Great Conjunction. What that was Saturn and Jupiter joining together at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Many astrologers spoke about this was truly the beginning of new Earth. This was our time to step into and envelop, enjoy, and entertain Aquarian energy of revolution, of sovereignty, of being free from lockdown, stepping away from polarity. We were, if you recall, we were coming out of lockdown. The vaccines were a thing, and we were being told that we had to do that. There were lies. There were things creating division at that time. So again, wanting to choose your authenticity, wanting to stand in your sovereignty was a theme at that time. It also signified a shift in energy from this conjunction occurring in Earth to air, asking us to use our minds and our ideas so that we could become a little more enmeshed into that Aquarian energy, into the air energy, so that we could use our minds to our advantage. Okay? Now, this time, what's very interesting, at the time of the solstice, we have Saturn and Jupiter squaring each other. Now, that perfection occurs very soon thereafter. I believe it's on the 24th. We felt this already. We felt the Saturn and Jupiter square back in August 19th. It perfects again on the 24th of this month, and then again it will occur in June of 2025. However, what's different this time, the moon is exactly opposite Saturn. And the moon is going to be conjunct Kuiper Belt object, a centaur called Nessus, Nessus. And the moon is going to be in Virgo, and that's conjunct Orcus, right? So we have Pisces at 13 degrees. We have the moon, Pisces. We have Saturn at 13 degrees. We have the moon at 13 degrees, exactly opposing each other. Then we have the centaur Nessus at 17 degrees, and we have Orcus at 17 degrees of Virgo. So again, an exact opposition. And Jupiter is squaring both of them. So let's break that down. There's a lot going on here. So Nessus is really, we're done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going along with this, with the status quo, and mixing that with Saturn is a very sobering reality that we must deal with. It's going to cause a pause, but we must deal with it. Now, on the other end of this, again, this is the health axis, right? The moon, which is our emotional selves, in the sign of Virgo, has a lot to do with health, taking care of others. It has, they're just, the health service axis is here. Giving too much of yourself could be part of this as well. But the moon conjunct Orcus, Orcus in the sign of Virgo. Orcus itself is the Kuiper belt object that punishes rule breakers, sacred law, if you will, and asks us to only create out of love. So it seems like there's almost a threshold here that is going to create another choice point. With Jupiter squaring both of these, we are going to get a lot of information again very quickly, which has already started. It's occurred over the weekend. It's going to continue mentally processing a lot of information that has to do with truth and facts and social media. So again, we have this a ton of energy. The Kuiper belt objects are kicking in. We've got Pluto still at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and Pluto is working with that North Node. And like I said, that perfection is going to occur on the 5th of January. But nonetheless, Pluto's helping us to transform so that we can meet that 0 degree of Aquarius energy, knowing our true essence when that conjunction occurs. Also, Pluto's working with Neptune, Neptune's working with Uranus. These are the outer planets, and they are helping us with that higher level of consciousness to make these choice points, to raise our consciousness along with the awareness that's coming in so quickly so that we can fully embody unity consciousness. I'm also, I have to say, it doesn't surprise me, the UAP drone situation. It seems like as soon as Pluto entered into Aquarius, it started amping up, and, you know, it's like, what's true, what's not, what's happening, who knows, you know. Again, galactic awareness and issues are going to be at the forefront from this point forward. Please, if I could ask you in closing, be mindful of your focus. If you hear something that may or may not be true, trust your intuition. Slow things down as you need them to be slowed down. This is a very powerful time of choosing your timelines, choosing which level of consciousness you want to be on. The split is occurring fast and furious, and it's getting wider and wider and wider. Choose wisely. Embrace unity, if I can be so bold to say that, and create space for peace within. Live from the inside out. Meditate, breath work, get out in nature. I have to tell you, communing with the trees when I was out in Portland was one of the best things I could have ever done. I focus on that quite often now from a place of healing for myself. And most importantly, live authentically. Be transparent. That's important with Pluto at 0 degrees and all of these other planets, these other things that are occurring, that are happening at 0 degrees. Well, thank you so much for stopping today. Oop, you know what? I did pull a card. Almost jumped right off. The card I pulled for today, I used the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. I just thought it would be good to have some angel oracle energy. And the card that jumped out was El Morya. Let's see more. Yeah, let's see what the book has to say. El Morya is a spiritual name that was given to protect the identity of Rambir Singh, a spiritually aware man born into a powerful family that ruled Kashmir in the 19th century. It is said that he interceded both spiritually and physically to stop the British invasion of the region in 1845. This wise soul is now able to help us remove any energy from our life that is not serving our connection to God. He is a wonderful guide to call on if we are unsure something is real or not. He helps us he helps awaken our I am presence. That's that North Node theme, folks, which is our truest connection to our soul and the universe itself. The extended message reads, spiritual protection is important at this time. Ensure that you are cleansing your energy before putting on protection. El Morya is here with a legion of angels to help you understand where you are at now. Fire up your divine connection and detach from drama, people, places, and emotions that no longer serve you. Remember that within you there is a mighty light soul. A mighty soul light. Allow that light to shine through your entire being. Then call on El Morya and his angels to surround you in a light that will keep you safe on all levels. Also know that facing fears and seeing the truth will strengthen your connection to the universal life force. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please do click the like button. If you want to help me co-create, please share this video with someone that you may know it could help. If you have any comments or suggestions, post them in the comment box below. Want to know when videos are being dropped? Click the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've got a very powerful week of energy. I wish you the best at the Capricorn solstice, at the winter solstice, for new connections, new beginnings, new insights, and high, high vibration. Namaste.